Africanism as a religion. Most people they are mistaken when you say you are an Africanism. You are an Africanist. They want you to define in other religions like Islam, like Christian, Hindu. But who are we as Africans? Does it mean that Africa had no religion? And what is the true meaning of a religion? Because James, in the book of James, God says the only religion that pleases Him is the religion that helps the poor. So we are mistaken in the divination of religions and Africanism. We want to see the qualities of God. Does Africa culture contain the virtues, the values of God? Because when the white man came, he brought a foreign religion in our continent, in Africa. He took like God never knew us and we never knew God. Like Africans had no relationship with God. God had to be introduced to us, like our creator had to be introduced to Africans. This is alone amazing. It's kind of perturbing to imagine that God, it is like even we were not created by the God who created the whites. It looks like we never had a relationship with God. But I know Africa, God, God of Africans. The way we say God of Abraham, God of Enoch, the God of Africans is much alive and is the most powerful. And the God of Africans observe the greatest values, even as they are envisaged in the Bible, as it is. When it comes to holiness, Africans practiced holiness. There were no immorality. They never promoted immorality. They never promoted corruption. They never promoted evils the way we have like things with abortions today, which are products of the foreign worship, abandoning our God of Africa. We are now experiencing things like birth controls, like young children, they are using birth controls because they cannot control their sexual urge. Immorality is the rule of the day. As long as the child can have sex, they start having sex with everybody. Today we are talking of body count. Remember the woman at the well who Jesus found, and when they were talking, Jesus told him that you have the third husband. If you can know the kind of ladies we are meeting, how many men have come across that person, that all you are going into. A lot of men, they have just been there. So we lost the African culture, which had values. The virginity is nothing. It is something of the first. Even God doesn't know. Why did God create virginity? It is lost. It has lost meaning under the worship of the foreign gods. Africanism observed these virtues. The strongest godly values were in Africa. Love, neighborhood, community, unity. It was in Africa. But today, out of the abandonment of the gods of Africa, Africa suffers because of abandoning their God. The sicknesses we have today, it is because we have abandoned our God. Our ancestors are living. Because when you talk of Abraham is an ancestor, when you talk of David is an ancestor, if we talk of Isaiah, those are ancestors and we call them gods. But when we come to African ancestors, first of all, who is Abraham? Who is Abraham in Africa? Why did Africa had such people who worked with God? Because we had prophets, we had people who prophesied in Africa, the things happened. We had rainmakers, we had people who did miracles. But when the white man came, he demonized everything that was African. Africanism became evil. Everything African, even our magic, our faith, it was called black magic. It was called like witchcraft, anything that we did which was spiritual, African spiritualism, it was demonized. And this is what we want to go back. We want to retrace our footsteps back to Africanism, where the patch was respect between old and the young. It was preserved. Today there is no age set, age groups. People are interacting. Young people are having sex with the old people. We have the things with the mumbambas and whatever. We are lost, totally lost, because we have lost African culture. Africanism is the strength. It is where God dwelt, the God of Africa. Today I don't define myself as a Christian. I don't define myself as a Muslim. I define myself as an African, because that is who God created me, and God marked me among the 7 continents. God marked African black. We are unique, wonderfully and fearfully meant. We cannot be related to any other, and that is why they are all coming to Africa. There was that kind of fighting for Africa. They were fighting to share Africa among themselves, because it was precious. We need to realize this: the minerals we have, the climate we have, the natural resources, the wildlife we are, the rivers, the forest. We are very rich. Africa is the strongest continent over the world. We need to be proud of this culture. We need to be proud of what we have. We need to be proud of our ancestors, the continent they found in themselves in. Because why will you tell me Jesus never had prophets, never had disciples from Africa? Does it mean even Jesus was just exploring Africa? He never knew there were people in Africa. He never had a word for us. God didn't. It is like we were forgotten somewhere. Then they bring historical myths, like we came from this forest, like they want to create the perception of monkeys. We were monkeys. We lived in forest. This is not true. Africa is the real deal. It's the real deal. And there are times, God's timing. We have been sharpened in terms of civilization, westernization. The truth has come up. And Jesus says, thou shalt know the truth, and the truth will set you free. It's time for Africa, for us to know the truth, and to allow the truth to set us free. Thank you.